Millionaire's confidence shattered, the heartwarming call that exposed life-changing secrets. The sun gleamed down on the perfectly trimmed hedges and pristine driveways of Maplewood, a delightful suburban paradise where white picket fences were almost as common as the scent of char-grilled burgers wafting through the summer air. At 45, Alex Turner stood at the apex of American affluence, tall, handsome, and wealthy, beyond his dreams. Yet as he looked out from his lavish office, a gnawing sense of dread shook his confidence. Beneath the surface shimmered a haunting truth: his past. One fateful morning, as golden rays danced on the pavement below, his phone buzzed, breaking the stillness of his well-ordered life. An old friend from childhood, Rosie, was calling. Her familiar voice, filled with warmth but heavy with urgency, pulled him back deeper than he ever wanted to go. "Alex, you won't believe the struggles here," she implored as he leaned closer, heart racing. She painted vivid images of the neighborhood they'd once roamed together, now suffocating under a cloud of poverty, families facing eviction, children burdened with bills rather than books. Memories rushed in like a tidal wave, playing kickball in the dirt streets, laughing until their sides hurt. But those happy memories faded into darkness as Rosie recounted a tragic fire that had ripped through their community center, claiming lives and dreams alike. Guilt twisted in Alex's gut, a reminder of how far he had strayed from those he once held dear. What had he done to help? The distance he'd created felt like a wall he hadn't merely built, he had fortified it. Determined to right his wrongs, Alex organized a massive charity fundraiser, envisioning how he'd reunite his childhood community with the hope he'd acquired through hard work. But he had underestimated the depth of skepticism that echoed through the faces of the very people he'd grown up with, voices whispering of arrogance and disconnect. "Out of touch," they said, and each word felt like a knife thrust into his pride. The night of the event came, glitzy and grand, but it spiraled into silence. No applause, no warm smiles, just judgment stinging his skin. Alex stood there, humiliated, the weight of disappointment heavy on his shoulders. His family had always believed in him, yet here he was battling shadows, haunted by memories of a life he thought he escaped. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Back in his empty office, Alex stared at a picture of his mother, the woman who had sacrificed everything for him, and the storm inside him raged. He remembered her laughter, her struggles, the sacrifices she made so he could chase dreams. Should he surrender to the safety of his affluent castle, or venture into the unknown to confront his roots? Just then, Rosie's name lit up his phone. She was waiting for him, pulling him closer to a crowded neighborhood meeting, a place filled with familiar faces and wounds that needed healing. Anxiety gripped him like a vice. Could he reclaim the identity he once feared losing? Or was he truly lost, forever caught between two worlds, yearning for the connection he had let slip away? The night loomed heavy, and one question echoed in his mind. Was he ready to return to where it all began? Alex's heart raced as he stepped out of his car, the familiar patch of asphalt beneath his feet, feeling like a portal to another world. The meeting was held at the dilapidated church that once buzzed with laughter, its walls now fading, peeling like memories slipping away. He took a deep breath, the scent of fresh paint and worn wood welcoming him in a way he hadn't expected. Yet unease coiled in his stomach, the way the old place cradled history cut deep. As he walked inside, the murmurs quickly hushed, and he felt dozens of eyes turned toward him. Some were curious, others skeptical, and some even suspicious. Their faces blurred together with the years, people he had grown up with, each expressing a truth he hadn't seen before. They were weary yet resilient, the cracks in their smiles stories he'd missed. "Hey, look who it is," came a sharp voice cutting through the silence. It was Marcus, a classmate who used to be one of his closest friends. Now, There was a hardness in his eyes that Alex had never seen before. "You decided to come back and save us all?" His tone dripped with sarcasm. "Marcus, Alex hesitated, words tangled in the rush of emotion. "I want to help." "Help?" Another voice echoed from the crowd. It was Ellen, a neighbor from his childhood. "You mean lead a fundraiser to make yourself feel better? What do you really know about hardship?" Their words sliced into him. He wanted to say he understood, to explain how he had struggled too, but how could he? His life had been paved with privilege while they fought for survival. "Please listen," he finally said, locking eyes with Rosie in the back, her presence grounding him. "I'm here because I care. I want to know how I can make a real difference, together." A soft murmuring followed his words, some nodding introspectively, while others remained doubtful. The sharp edge of his past met the raw wound of their current realities, colliding and leaving a jagged silence hanging in the air. Rosie stepped forward, her own nervousness palpable. "We used to play in these streets together. Alex joked and laughed with us. Maybe we can find common ground again." Her voice broke slightly, but warmth colored her words. Slowly, the tension began to ease, as if a dim light flickered back to life. "How about we start with a cleanup day?" a voice said from the back. "We need a new mural too." A sense of relief washed over Alex. Finally, ideas began to flow, small steps toward rebuilding the community's fabric. "I can help organize the supplies," he chimed in, feeling a spark of hope for the first time that night. As they began to brainstorm, the past felt less like a haunting ghost and more like a set of stepping stones guiding him toward a new purpose. Laughter replaced judgment. Ideas filled the room, and for the first time, Alex saw a glimmer of belief blossom in their eyes. While things wouldn't easily revert back to what they once were, maybe, just maybe, he could begin to repair some of the relationships he had let slip. But doubt still lingered. Was he really capable of doing what needed to be done? Could he transcend wealth and privilege to be the man they needed? As he left that night, the moon hung full and bright in the sky, illuminating his path back. A new resolve ignited within him, mixing with the uncertainty. The journey ahead felt daunting, but he could see the beginnings of change. Would it be enough to mend the cracks in this community and in himself? The answers hovered just out of reach, and one haunting thought remained. Could he truly redefine who he was in the face of the past he once knew so intimately? As he drove away, he realized the road ahead was uncertain, but he was determined to take the first steps. As dawn broke the next day, Alex felt the weight of the meeting still pressing down on him. Despite the rising sun casting golden hues across the street, his heart remained clouded with uncertainty. This new commitment he had made was already beginning to feel intimidating. What if they rejected him again? What if he failed? He couldn't shake off the faces of his old classmates, etched in his mind like the peeling paint on the church walls. Marcus's piercing eyes, Ellen's bitter words, and the need for Rosie's belief hung heavily in the air. With each thought, his nervousness fluttered. It wasn't just about ideas anymore, it was about trust, about connection, and most importantly, about proving he wasn't just here to play the hero. His phone buzzed on the table, pulling him from his reverie. It was Rosie. Curiosity prickled his skin as he answered. "Hey, Alex, do you have a minute?" Her tone was light, but he could sense a wave of sincerity underneath. "Of course. What's up?" "I was thinking about the cleanup day." She hesitated, then continued. "What if we made it more than just cleaning, like a community event? We could include games, food, maybe even invite everyone from the neighborhood." He perked up. "That could work. We could get everyone to pitch in, bring what they can." "Exactly. It'll make everyone feel included. Plus, the kids will love it." Rosie's enthusiasm was contagious. As they brainstormed, Alex's mind began to whirl with possibilities. A community cookout, face painting for the kids, even a small talent show. There were so many ways to draw people together. The plan was shaping up beautifully. "I'll start reaching out to local businesses for donations," he offered, excitement bubbling within him. But just as quickly as the excitement rose, Doubt began to creep in. "Rosie," he said, carefully choosing his words, "what if I can't pull this off? What if it flops?" "Hey, stop that," she said, her voice firm but gentle. "You have to believe in this. You're not alone. We're all counting on each other to make it happen, remember?" He nodded, quietly gathering strength from her words. They talked until they had a full-fledged plan. After hanging up, Alex felt renewed. Around noon, he drove to his childhood neighborhood, heart racing not from anxiety but anticipation. The streets looked the same, packed with worn-out cars and children playing, yet everything felt different. It was as if he were stepping back in time, yet also bridging a gap to the future. In the park, laughter greeted him as he began hanging flyers on the community board. Each hand he shook and every smile exchanged filled him with warmth. He was weaving himself back into this tapestry he had once threaded through, unsure of the color of his fabric, but determined to make it bright. As he was folding up the last flyer, a child rushed up, hair tousled and dirt-streaked cheeks glowing. "Are you coming to the cleanup day?" "Yes, and I hope you'll join," he replied, feeling an overwhelming sense of connection. This innocent question pulled at his heartstrings. Later that afternoon, as he sat on a bench, watching people, friends, old classmates, he spotted Marcus approaching. The last remaining shards of their past together echoed painfully, but he steeled himself. "Hey," Marcus greeted, his tone measured. "About last night. I didn't mean to sound harsh." Alex felt his breath hitch. "I get it, but I want to help." "Do you really think you can make a difference?" That earnest question hung between them, the coldness thawing ever so slightly. Alex met Marcus's gaze, fully prepared to lay bare the hope surging inside him, but before more could be said, a scream erupted from the direction of the playground. The laughter turned to chaos as a small boy stumbled, one whose face Alex recognized from earlier. Time froze. Was the joy he had begun to feel about to scatter like leaves in a storm? He sprang up, heart racing, as he dashed toward the commotion. Would he be able to save that moment to step up when it truly counted? The answer loomed ahead, echoing louder than the playground's shouts. Could he rise to the occasion and redefine his role in this community? As Alex raced toward the playground, the chaos surged around him like an ominous tide. The laughter that filled the air just moments ago had been replaced by panic. Kids huddled together, wide-eyed as a small crowd gathered around the fallen boy. Alex's heart thudded in his chest. Was this the moment he had dreaded or hoped for? He reached the throng of kids and parents, his eyes locking onto the little boy sprawled on the ground, tears streaming down his dirt-smudged face. Alex knelt beside him, taking a deep breath to steady himself. "Hey there, buddy. What happened?" he asked, keeping his voice gentle and calm. "I fell. My knee hurts," the boy sobbed, cradling his scraped leg. Alex glanced around for help. The adults in the crowd exchanged worried looks, but nobody stepped forward. Suddenly, a wave of realization washed over him. This was not merely about lifting a fallen spirit, but embodying the change he wanted to see. Taking out his phone, he quickly called Rosie. "Hey, it's me. We need a first aid kit at the park fast." "On my way," she replied. "Okay, stay strong, little man," Alex said, focusing on the boy. He pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and pressed it against the boy's knee to stop the bleeding. "You're going to be all right. Just breathe." With every breath the boy took, Alex felt the weight of 1,000 moments demanding his attention. He remembered his own fears all too well, the fear of judgment, of failing again. But the weight of that responsibility ignited a flame of determination within him. He was here, needed, and ready to act. As he bandaged the boy's knee with some cloth from his backpack, Marcus joined him, kneeling on the other side. "That was quick thinking, Alex," he muttered, genuinely impressed. "Had no idea you were so resourceful." "Just trying to help," Alex replied, affixing a bit of tape to secure the makeshift bandage. "I've learned that sometimes. You can't wait for someone else to do what's right." "Right," Marcus said, dipping his head and studying the ground beneath them. "It's just, not everyone knows how to step up." With Rosie arriving moments later, She hurriedly handed him the first aid kit, her face a mixture of concern and admiration. They tended to the boy together, reassuring him until his tears transformed into soft sniffles. The relief washing over Alex was palpable. He had done it. He had stepped up when it counted most. Once the boy was on his feet, he turned to Alex and hugged him gingerly. "Thank you," he squeaked, his eyes sparkling with gratitude. Alex felt a warmth swell in his heart. This was the connection he craved. It transcended the pain he'd felt in the past. As the crowd began to disperse, conversations sparked up, smiles rekindled. Something shifted in the atmosphere, a shared acknowledgement of community, a moment of unity fueled by empathy. "Good job today," Marcus said, and this time there was no hesitation in his voice. "You've changed the vibe here, maybe even with me too." For the first time, Alex saw a hint of camaraderie reflected in Marcus's gaze. "Thanks, but it's just the beginning," he replied, feeling invincible. Yet, as laughter began to fill the park once more, shadows lurked at the edges of his mind. This was one moment. A series of challenges lay ahead. Would the warmth of this connection last, or would it be snuffed out when faced with adversity? Before he could ponder further, Rosie interrupted his thoughts. "So, you ready for the cleanup day? Because I think we just proved we're capable of more than we realized." With a smile tugging at the corners of his lips, Alex nodded. "Absolutely. Let's show them what we can do." But as a small crowd gathered again, one woman's piercing scream shattered the echo of laughter. "My dog! He's missing!" The energy shifted, and Alex's heart sank. Could they keep this newfound spirit alive amidst yet another turmoil? The day was about to take an unexpected turn. Alex's heart raced as he turned toward the source of the scream. The woman, visibly distraught, pushed through the crowd, her hands pulling at her hair, eyes wide with panic. "I can't find him. My little Max!" Her voice cracked, the desperation cutting through the park's joyful noise. Children paused in their play to watch, curiosity arching their brows. The friendly laughter faded, leaving only the echo of the woman's frantic cries. Instinctively, Alex nudged Marcus. "We need to help her." "Yeah, but how?" Marcus replied, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. Alex took a breath, scanning the area. "First things first, we have to spread out. There are still a lot of places he could be." He dashed toward the nearest cluster of trees, beckoning Marcus and a couple of other kids to follow. "Come on, let's split up and call his name. We can cover more ground that way." As they ran, Alex's mind churned. He felt a pulse of determination that pushed away the lingering doubts. This wasn't just about him anymore. This was a chance to make a real difference again. He called out, "Max, come here, boy." The echo of his voice bounced off the playground structures, and the other kids joined in, their voices rising like a chorus of hope. "We had him just a minute ago," someone murmured, and the fear in the air tangled with Alex's own rising anxiety. What if they couldn't find him? The thought alone made his chest tighten. Minutes felt like hours as they searched through bushes and behind benches, calling the puppy's name, the worry on the woman's face growing heavier with each unanswered call. It dawned on Alex that this was the crux of what he feared, the powerlessness of being unable to help in a moment when it mattered most. Just as doubt threatened to creep in, he caught a glimpse of something small darting through the grass. "Wait! There!" he shouted, pointing as the little dog bounded back and forth, clearly loving the attention. "Max!" The woman spun around, her eyes lighting up. "Max, baby!" she exclaimed, her voice breaking with emotion. Without a second thought, she raced toward the pup, kneeling down with tears of relief streaming down her cheeks. As the dog jumped into her arms, wagging its tail furiously, it was as if the world had breathed in together. The fear that had clouded the park dissipated, replaced by smiles and a collective sigh of relief. Alex couldn't help but smile, too, the warmth flooding back into his heart. He had played a part in bringing that joy, a tiny but significant role in the bigger picture of helping others. "See? Teamwork," he said to Marcus, who stood slightly behind him, still taking it all in. "Yeah, I guess," Marcus replied, his expression softening. "Didn't think you had it in you, man." "Neither did I," Alex chuckled. But maybe that's what being part of a community is all about. As the group gathered around the woman and her dog, laughter rekindled the spirit of the playground. Yet, beneath the joyful reunion, a flicker of challenge remained in the air. "Hey, I just thought of something," Rosie said, her brow furrowing in thought. "What if we organize a community pet day, with games and a search team for lost animals?" Alex's heart quickened. The thought of turning this moment of turmoil into something proactive sparked excitement within him. "That could work. Let's brainstorm ideas." He felt a pull of inspiration. This was about more than just a lost dog. It was a call for connection, for community, and a chance to nurture hope. But while they brainstormed, unease stirred at the edge of Alex's thoughts. This success had come easy, yet he wondered, could their bond withstand a tougher test? Just then, a small voice broke through the chatter. "What if a pet day is just the start? Maybe we could also help people who are lost too." The young girl's innocent remark hung in the air, stirring a deeper reflection within Alex. What if they didn't just stop at pets? Suddenly, the atmosphere seemed charged with potential. As Alex looked around at the hopeful faces around him, he knew something bigger awaited them. Would they have the courage to take the leap? With a mix of anticipation and trepidation, Alex felt the weight of the moment shift. Was this just the beginning of a journey that could lead them to even greater challenges, or to unexpected joys? Only time would tell. The excitement buzzed like fireworks in the air as Alex and his friends began laying out plans for their community pet day. Laughter bounced from one side of the park to the other as they sketched ideas on the grass, drawing a little map with sticks and stones. Yet, amidst the joy, an underlying tension still simmered in Alex's gut. He could sense it. Life tended to throw unexpected hurdles, ready to disrupt even the brightest days. "Okay, so we have games, a pet parade," Rosie announced, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "What if we have a lost and found booth for pets?" "Definitely. And maybe we can have a dog show where everyone shows off their pets," Marcus added, his face lighting up. The group cheered and ideas began to spiral like autumn leaves in the wind. But with each suggestion, Alex's mind kept drifting to the girl's earlier comment. Helping lost people. What could that even look like? Was the impulse merely a fleeting thought or the seed of something substantial? He felt drawn to it, but doubt clawed at him. Just then, a shadow loomed over them. Alex looked up to see the park ranger approaching, his uniform crisp against the bright blue sky. A sudden silence fell over the group. "Hey, kids, what's this all about?" the ranger asked, amusement playing at the corners of his mouth. "We're planning a community pet day," Rosie exclaimed eagerly, pointing at their makeshift map. "We want to help keep everyone's pets safe and happy." The ranger's brows furrowed slightly. "That's a great idea," he said thoughtfully. "But I gotta warn you about something. You might want to think about how to handle more complicated situations too." He waved his hand off toward a distant area of the park, where families were spreading out and kids were running wild. "What do you mean?" Alex asked cautiously. "It's tough out there. Not just with pets, but people can go missing too, especially little ones. You never know when someone might wander off. If a situation escalates, it can get pretty serious," the ranger replied, a shadow crossing his face. Alex's heart thudded in his chest. This went beyond a lost puppy. It connected to the girl's innocent suggestion. This was a call to not only care for animals, but also lend a helping hand to anyone who might need it. At that moment, an idea sparked into clarity. "What if we have a safety corner?" he suggested aloud, the words tumbling from his lips. "We could have people volunteer to help look out for kids, and also set up a system to report any lost individuals. We'll make this not just a celebration for pets, but also a space for community safety." Excitement flickered in the eyes of his friends. They leaned in, inspired by the idea. "Yeah, we can have signs everywhere, and even a buddy system," Marcus added, his voice rising. Alex's heart raced, the adrenaline of possibility flooding him once more. This was more than just a project. It felt like a purpose. But the ranger's expression turned grim as he added, "It's important to remember that things can get real. You may encounter difficult situations. Are you sure you're ready for that?" Alex paused, the weight of the ranger's concern sinking in. Could they truly handle something that could go wrong? His heart fluttered with doubt, yet a strange sense of resolve blossomed within him. Perhaps it was time for him and his friends to rise to the occasion, to transform innocent ideas into actions that could change lives. Just as they began to toy with more ideas, laughter suddenly erupted from a nearby group, pulling Alex's attention. A boy, barely older than 6, clutched a bright red balloon, his laughter ringing out like music. Then his expression shifted as he looked around, confusion washing over him. Had he lost track of his parents? Instinctively, Alex felt a chill rip through him. Would they be able to help him to ensure he didn't get lost in the chaos of the park? "Guys," he murmured, adrenaline coursing through his veins. "What if that's us next? What if we can really make a difference?" As determination coursed through the group, Alex wondered, would they be ready when the moment truly mattered? The park teemed with life, but lurking just beneath the surface was the unknown, waiting to test their courage. Could they become the guardians they wished to be? Only time would reveal the truths and trials ahead. As Alex's thoughts spun around the image of the lost boy, he felt a surge of responsibility. "Let's do it. Let's create that safety corner," he declared, his voice more confident than he felt inside. Rosie's face shone with excitement. "Yes. If we get permission from the ranger, we can set up an information booth. We can put up signs and even create a map of where kids can go if they feel lost." The idea sparked something inside the entire group. They eagerly began brainstorming everything they could include in their plan. Ideas flew: an identification wristband system for kids, a way to report a missing pet or a person, a designated safe zone with volunteers on watch. Alex felt his earlier doubts dissipate as the collective energy transformed into tangible plans. The prospect of helping those in need ignited a fire in his chest. He could see it now, their community coming together, a tapestry of safety woven with care. But as they dove deeper into planning, a weight settled in Alex's stomach. A thought lingered. Were they really prepared for the challenges that could arise? The ranger's warning echoed in his mind. The beautiful fantasy of a perfect day could easily shatter if something went wrong. They spent the next hour sketching out a plan, tackling logistics and assigning roles. The excitement was palpable, and Alex couldn't help but smile at the camaraderie bubbling around him. But as laughter erupted each time they envisioned a silly contest for pets, a nagging worry grew like a dark cloud hovering above. When they finally paused for breath, Alex noticed the boy still clutching his red balloon. He had wandered closer, his small frame now clearly searching endlessly for someone. The little guy's face twisted from vibrant joy to a look of pure bewilderment. "He's lost," Marcus cut through the chatter, his joy replaced with concern. What if his parents don't find him? The group fell silent, a wave of seriousness washing over them. The playful energy drained, leaving behind a stark reality. This was exactly what they were planning to address. "Should we go over there?" Rosie asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Alex said, his mind racing. "If we want to help with getting people back together, we should start right now." They approached the boy slowly, trying to gauge his anxiety. His eyes darted across the sea of families, panic creeping in as he realized his balloon floated farther out of reach. "Hey there," Alex said softly, crouching down to the boy's level. "It's okay. What's your name?" "Tommy," the boy stammered, tears pooling in his eyes. "Tommy, we're here to help you find your family. Can you tell us where you last saw them?" Alex's heart pounded. He felt the weight of the moment, the urgency in the air. I lost them by the swing set," Tommy replied, his voice trembling. In that instant, Alex knew this wasn't just a minor hiccup in their plans. This was real. He had the chance to make a difference right in front of him, to show the boy that help was on the way. "Guys, let's split up and look for his family. Spread out but stay within sight of each other." Alex barked out orders, adrenaline surging through him. "We can do this." With determination, they darted into action, calling out for Tommy's parents while scanning the park. As they scattered, tensions rose. Were they truly ready for this? Alex realized they weren't just preparing for Community Pet Day anymore. They were in the thick of it, fighting to bring hope to a frightened child. Would they find Tommy's family before it was too late? The clock was ticking and the stakes had never felt higher. Alex sprinted toward the swing set, the sounds of laughter and joy from families echoing in stark contrast to the pounding of his heart. He shouted Tommy's name again and again, hoping to catch the attention of anyone nearby who might recognize the little boy. "Tommy!" he called. The word felt heavy in his throat, filled with urgency and care. He scanned the area, eyes darting from one face to another, searching for worry or distress that might hint at the lost boy's family. As he reached the swings, he noticed a group of parents clustered together, whispering with concern. Catching his breath, Alex approached them, desperation threading through his voice. "Has anyone here seen a boy about this tall with a red balloon? His name is Tommy." The parents exchanged glances, their expressions tight with sympathy. One mom stepped forward, her eyes wide with worry. "I think I saw a little boy near the concession stand a while ago. He was looking for someone. Are you sure he's alone?" "Yes, he is," Alex replied, hope mixed with fear. "We're trying to find his family." Before another word could be spoken, Rosie pulled up beside him, panting but determined. "Nothing over near the sandbox. I talked to a couple of people. They haven't seen his parents either." A knot twisted in Alex's stomach. "We need to move faster." He felt the weight of the mission they'd just embarked on, pressing down heavier than ever. He was not just trying to provide comfort, he was taking a step into someone's nightmare. Just as he turned back to the swings, he noticed Marcus hustling toward him, waving his hands wildly. "I found something over at the picnic area." There was both excitement and urgency in his voice. Alex felt a rush of adrenaline as they all positioned themselves to head toward the food tables. He felt the wind tug at his shirt, pulling him forward, every instinct screaming that they were close to finding Tommy's family. As they arrived at the picnic area, Alex's heart sank. The vibrant chaos of people was overwhelming, families enjoying food, kids running around. But where was Tommy's family? He looked at Marcus, who was scanning the crowd with intense focus. "Everyone, listen," Marcus yelled. "We need to call out for Tommy's parents. Get everyone's attention." With renewed energy, the group fanned out, shouting over the din of laughter and chatter. "Tommy's parents! Does anyone know Tommy?" The noise felt deafening, and yet the stakes were clear. Time was slipping away, and the once light-hearted community event now felt heavy with tension. Just then, a woman's desperate cry cut through the chaos. "Tommy!" Alex turned sharply, locking onto the woman's pale face as she frantically searched the crowd. "Mom!" Tommy's voice rose above the noise, relief flooding their hearts. Alex watched as the boy bolted toward his mother, collapsing into her arms. The weight of fear dissipated, replaced by the warmth of a mother's love. The look in her eyes told them all they'd done something important. As the woman hugged Tommy tightly, the community rallied around them, offering words of comfort and joy. Alex looked at Rosie and Marcus, a mix of elation and exhaustion washing over them. "We did it," Rosie whispered, almost in disbelief. "We actually did it." But the fleeting moment of triumph was interrupted by a thought that loomed just out of reach. What if there were more children like Tommy? What should they do to really make a lasting change? Little did they know their adventure was just beginning. Would they take on the challenge and create a safety corner that would protect children like Tommy? Or would they be confronted with unexpected hurdles that could change everything? As the cheers of the crowd faded into the background, Alex couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and uncertainty. Tommy was safe, but now, standing amidst the remnants of the celebration, half-eaten cotton candy and balloons drifting away in the gentle breeze, he felt a stirring calling within him. He looked at Rosie and Marcus, their faces illuminated with joy, yet he spotted a flicker of concern, almost imperceptible in their expressions. "What's next?" Marcus asked, crossing his arms. "This was just one kid. How do we make sure this doesn't happen again?" Rosie nodded, the weight of reality pressing down on them. It felt too close. There were too many kids running around, and not every parent is as lucky as this one. Alex looked around, seeing families enjoying the festival, not knowing how fragile safety could be in their joyous bubbles. "We can do something. We have to do something." "Like what?" Rosie pressed, her brows knitted with thought. "It's not like we can follow every kid around." He took a step closer to them. "What if we set up a safety area? A place where kids can go if they get lost. A secure spot with adults ready to help." Marcus raised an eyebrow. And how do we make that happen? Alex took a deep breath, feeling a rush of determination. We talk to the organizers. We can gather volunteers. If we can get people involved, maybe we can make a difference. A sudden burst of hope surged through all three of them. They began brainstorming ideas, envisioning a vibrant safety corner filled with bright banners, friendly faces, and signs that could guide children back to their parents. Every idea they tossed out confirmed their commitment to creating a bubble of security in a world where accidents could happen in the blink of an eye. But just then, the crowd shifted, and Alex spotted a glimpse of the little red balloon, Tommy's balloon, floating away. A pang of contemplation shot through him. What if our safety corner doesn't work? What if it doesn't catch all the kids? Then we do our best, Rosie said firmly, her resolve anchoring the moment. We can't do everything, but we can at least try to do something meaningful. As they stood there, ideas spinning in the air like fireflies, a sudden storm of laughter erupted nearby. A group of children ran past them, playing tag with carefree delight. The laughter tugged at Alex's heartstrings, reminding him of the innocence they were aiming to protect. Are we really prepared for this? Marcus said, uncertainty creeping into his voice. What if we're not cut out for the responsibility? No one is ever fully prepared, Marcus, Alex replied, feeling the truth stick to his tongue like sweetness. But take a look around. If we don't step up, it's a risk no one else will take either. And that risk could mean something much worse. Rosie nodded, her voice now laced with conviction. Then we jump in. Let's build this corner and make it a safe place for kids. For every child like Tommy. As they joined hands in agreement, the warmth of their unity spread through them, igniting the spark of change. Yet just as they began to make plans, a distant scream pierced the cheerful laughter, slicing through the moment like a knife. They turned to see a little girl, her face twisted in fear, frantically searching the crowd. What now? Rosie asked, panic echoing in her voice. Before Alex could respond, he felt his heart drop into his stomach. The boy's lost balloon was drifting higher. Somewhere, more children were at risk. They had only just begun their mission, but a storm was brewing on the horizon. "Let's go," he yelled, already sprinting toward the frightened girl, hoping they weren't too late. What would they face next? Would they find the little girl's family in time? And what other grim realities awaited them on their journey toward their vision of safety? The echoes of laughter, once vibrant, now rang with urgent undertones. Alex felt his heart pounding as he dashed toward the little girl who stood trembling in the sea of unfamiliar faces. That scream had pierced right through him, igniting a fire within to act, to help, before they lost another moment. "Hey there, it's all right," he said, kneeling down to her level. "What's your name?" "Lily," she sobbed, deep brown eyes shimmering with fear. "I can't find my mommy." His gut twisted. He could feel the weight of this moment, just like he had with Tommy. The stakes had never felt higher. "Okay, Lily, we're going to find her together. Where did you last see her?" "By the petting zoo," she whispered, her small body quaking and fingers clutching the hem of her shirt. "Perfect, let's go." He motioned for Rosie and Marcus, who quickly joined by his side, determination written all over their faces. "We'll split up again and look together." Rosie ran to the left toward the petting zoo, her heart pounding with urgency, while Marcus and Alex sprinted toward the right. Every second felt like an eternity, moments flooding back of their earlier challenges and victories. The pressing realization of how fragile joy could be clung to his mind, propelling him forward. "Mommy!" Lily cried, and Alex glanced back, watching her stall just for a heartbeat, fear wrestling with hope. If they didn't find her mother soon, how would the anxiety spill over into something far worse? Rounding the corner, Alex caught sight of the petting area. Families were mingling, laughter still bubbling, but he needed to cut through the noise. "Everyone!" he shouted, voice strained but clear. "We're looking for a girl named Lily. If you see a woman searching for her, please help." The chaos slowed, eyes searching, hearts aligning, and before he could exhale even a little relief, Lily's little face turned pale. "What if she doesn't find me?" Alex felt his chest constrict. "She will," he assured her. kneeling down again, his voice steady. "Think about how many people want to help. We're all in this together." Just then, Rosie burst through the crowd, excitement glimmering in her eyes. "I saw her. I saw Lily's mom. She's at the other side of the petting zoo." Relief washed over Alex, igniting the drive to move faster. He took Lily's hand, squeezing it gently as they rushed toward the sound of sobs and cheers. The bustling crowd began parting like waves, and as they emerged, he spotted a woman with frantic eyes searching with desperation. "Mommy!" Lily called out, breaking into a light run. The woman turned, her face morphing from panic to elation as she saw her daughter. "Lily!" she screamed, rushing forward to swoop the little girl into her arms. The world melted into that moment, blurred edges softening with the beauty of reunion. Alex and his friends stood back, watching the reunion unfold. Tears of joy streamed down the mum's face as she held her daughter tight. A wave of satisfaction washed over him. This was exactly what they aimed to create: connections, safety, community. "How you did a good job," Marcus said, nudging Alex, who felt surprisingly buoyant. "We all did," he replied, eyes unwavering, still seized by the vibrant connection in that moment. This wasn't just about lost children in a park. It was about real lives and hearts intertwined, a neighborhood learning how to catch each other when it mattered. As the crowd began to cheer, joining in the celebration of family, a familiar thought resurfaced in Alex's mind. Their initial idea for a safety corner was blossoming into something vital. They were ready to take on the responsibility, building a foundation for the future. "Let's head back to our spot," Rosie encouraged, optimism lighting her eyes. "We have to keep this momentum going." When they gathered again near the picnic area, feelings of excitement mingled with exhaustion. Their minds buzzed with potential. "What if we made it a real community project?" Rosie suggested, voice brimming with ideas. "Formalize a safety corner for lost kids. Maybe we can get support from local businesses to help fund it." Alex grinned, love for their community bubbling up inside him. "Absolutely. This is just the beginning. Let's make something great out of all these experiences." "You have a way of getting us organized," Marcus added, newfound respect evident in his tone. "We'll handle whatever comes our way." In that moment of unity, laughter and smiles radiated among the group. They shared a bond forged not just from tasks or plans, but from love, connection, and determination. As they crafted their proposal, brainstorming together to create safe zones and neighborhood watch programs, a collective spirit emerged, one that rippled through their community. They were igniting hope, taking on challenges with strength and compassion. The momentum surged as the possibility blossomed on the horizon, and each leap they took solidified their resolve. The thrill of connection and togetherness ignited in every heart. And just like that, beside the remnants of laughter, hope surged anew. They had the chance to change lives and to truly be the guardians their community needed. With every action they took, they would rise to the occasion, determined to build a future where no child felt lost and every voice was heard. As the sun dipped low, casting a golden glow over the park, Alex knew they were ready. They couldn't foresee every challenge ahead, but they would be brave and loving, taking every step together. The road lay open ahead, and the adventure of building a community had truly begun. Now this is your moment. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that inspire and ignite change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow this community. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. What resonated with you? And don't wait, not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of your support through these actions.